Jeff, we still got. I got it. Thank you. All right. The time being 7 p.m., I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Here.
Councilmember Patassi,
Here.
and Mayor Barrios.
Here, please note, us three are here this evening. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation provided by Pastor Kent Roberts of the River Christian Community Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for the privilege. Please pray with me. Our Father in heaven, we're grateful and filled with hope in knowing that the sovereign creator, ruler, and sustainer of everything hears us as we come to you in prayer. And it is in that hope and faith-filled confidence that we come before you once again. Our life's experience and the truth-filled promises of your word remind us of who you are and what you alone can do. Tonight, we humbly ask that you would give wisdom and understanding to our city leaders, grant them insight and discernment beyond the limitations of their own understanding as they desire to do what is best for the people of Oakdale. In this yet another season of change and transition within the leadership of our city, give our city council and our mayor clarity and certainty in the choosing of Oakdale's next city manager. As we pray for our leaders making such a decision, we also pray for whomever that individual will be, asking that you would uniquely lead them and prepare them for the opportunities and challenges they will face. We are grateful for the strong, clear leadership we have experienced through the tenure of Brian Whitemeyer. And now we ask for you to provide an individual who will bring those qualities of leadership for the ongoing future of our city. We're thankful for your promises and your provision. We are blessed in the freedoms that we possess by your grace. Please help us, enable us to live with intention in the pursuit of kindness, justice, and righteousness, which you say are priorities in which you delight. We pray these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. All right, so at this time, I'd like for the civics volunteers to come on up and the leaders come on up.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good
members of the
evening.
council. If you don't mind, I'm going to cue this up real quick
No,
just
of
to
course, of
give some
course.
background information because I think it's really important. It's truly an honor to recognize our City of Oakdale Volunteer Civics team. The acronym CIVICS stands for Citizens, Volunteering, and City Services. It consists of several programs and services such as TAG, which is Tag Up Against Graffiti, and the Service Request Hotline. The Service Request Hotline is a 24-hour hotline number that Oakdale citizens can call to report things such as graffiti, street or sign problems, illegal parking, illegal dumping, street light problems, and code enforcement issues. The Service Request Hotline was started in 2012, so they're going on 13 years. It started at a time when our economy was really bad and city staffing was drastically cut and was put in place to assist with code enforcement duties and be a vital link between the community and city staff, ensuring that citizens received a response to their complaints, while also ensuring that calls were triaged to the appropriate city staff so the issues could be resolved. Since they were established, more than 2,000 calls have been handled to date. The civics team, headed by Oakdale resident Michael Hancock, consists of 6 total volunteers who dedicate 1 or more days per week to respond to citizen concerns or complaints. Our dedicated volunteers take phone calls received via the hotline, input the complaints, and submit them to appropriate city staff so that we in turn can address the problems. The service has been extremely helpful and valued to the City of Oakdale staff and has aided in building positive relationships with the community. Even with the implementation of our new My Civics app that was rolled out last year, which has been extremely popular, the 24/7 service request hotline still provides a valuable resource and ensures that we meet the needs of all demographics. We are so very grateful to our civics team and everything they do. They have made Oakdale a better place and should be proud of their accomplishments. I'd like to ask Mike Hancock, the leader of the civics team, if he could come forward and introduce the different volunteers here, and then we can provide them with their recognition.
Good evening.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'd like to introduce, we have 3 of our volunteers here today. We have Lupe Aguilera. Lupe, come on up, if you will. We have Debbie Tate, and we have Melanie Leverett. Now, we have 5 volunteers that work out of their home and do this all the time, but these are the folks who were able to show up tonight for us. So I want to thank them for coming and for being great volunteers. I have a little chart here to show you how dedicated these folks are. You got to remember, this is every week. They have a day every week. And Lupe has done this now for 6 years. And Lupe doesn't even live in Oakdale anymore, and she still wants to do it. But that's not unusual with all of our volunteers. We had a volunteer who actually moved out of the state and continued to do it for a long time so she could stay in touch with the city. So I think that's pretty cool. Melanie has also been here for 6 years doing this every week for 6 years. And Debbie is going on 2 years right now, so she's one of our new ones. But these are great people. We've had about 25 volunteers over the years, and some of them have stayed quite a while, some of them not so long. But I just love working with volunteers who are so dedicated to what they're doing and dedicated to the city too. So it's been a great program, really cool.
So Mike, this 24-hour hotline, the 209-840-6111, is one that we have shared many, many, many times. And what I love about that, one of the things I love is you do get a call back within 24 hours of calling. Sometimes even calling at night, you get a call right back. So my hat's off to you ladies and to your team, Mike. And I just want to say thank you very much for your continued years of service, and keep doing it because it's very, very much appreciated.
Great, thank you,
So thank
Mayor.
you very much.
Diana's our main.
Yes, ready, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much. All right, so reporting out of closed session, we gave direction to staff. Now is the time for public comment. Anyone wishing to provide public comment, go ahead and step up to the mic. You'll have 3 minutes, and please state your name. Good evening. Nice to see you.
Madam Mayor, council members, my name is Pat Kewen. I'm going to talk fast because I have 3 minutes. 3 years ago, over 3 years ago, Councilmember Smith walked up to my house and said, "What's going in next to your house?" And I was a little taken back that a city council member didn't know what was going in next to my house, but there were a lot of problems. Eventually, it got built in. The neighbors are really, they're quiet, they're good, it's a good fit, but we have had a lighting problem that I've been working on for 2 years with staff, but it's just not getting resolved. So as policymakers, I'm bringing it to you. I have 2 sets of pictures, if I may approach.
Of course. Thank you.
The satellite healthcare is the old sign. They put up a new sign. That is my bedroom that shines in. And of course, it is not supposed to give off light to adjoining properties. Also, there is all of the tall lights around the parking lot. There is one by the dumpster, which faces the west. that shines in the other lights. You can see my patio, my back porch, our seating area, and table and chairs. Oh, he's seen them. You can't even sit there because it's blinding, but it also lights up the whole patio and my family room. And this should not be happening, and it probably shouldn't have been opened until all of this was resolved, but it was. And it has changed owners, I know that, but if it had been solved with the original owner, we wouldn't be here with the second owner. So I would just like to get this resolved as soon as possible. And I wanted to get here before Mr. Whitemeyer left, because I thought then I'll be starting all over again.
Yeah, Mayor,
Yes.
Ms. Kuhn, thank you so much for being here. We've had, everything she said is true. We've had numerous conversations over last few years, and you know, we're not where we want to be, but I know Mr. Gravel is working on it. And do you have any new updates related to what's going on and what we can expect?
So the one new thing that was actually new to me was the dumpster light. I'll call it the dumpster light.
Oh, I
Just
have it
it's
documented.
directional.
I have it documented that
So-
I reported it before.
So
Yeah,
that's something I'll be looking at
So,
tomorrow.
I mean, I don't think we're doubting that you reported it. I
Right.
think we didn't necessarily understand
Okay.
Yeah,
that
it.
was part of the issue. And
Yeah,
so we,
I think the communication has been, I don't know, we've had a lot of communication, I know that, and I appreciate your email that I got, that you sent Friday, but it's still not getting resolved, and
Right.
it's been a couple of years, and it's not, number one, it's not supposed to be. with-
Right.
with-
And I think it's important to kind of describe the issue is when the building was constructed and the original lighting was installed, there was a problem, and we worked through that, and the lighting was turned off because there was no one occupying the building. And then we have this new occupant, and I think some signs were approved, and I don't think those people who approved the signs understood the history of the issue. And so, you know, poor Ms. Kuhn is like, oh my gosh, I'm getting blasted with, too bad it's not like vitamin D light. Because then, we definitely understand the issue, and we apologize that it kind of slipped through like this, but I know Jeff and his team are working to get, and I know in the communication that I've had with Mr. Gravel, it appears that the owner recognizes the issue and wants to make it be a good
Right.
neighbor.
Right.
Yeah, it was really, it's too bad it didn't go to the planning commission. This project did not go before the planning commission, and I think that was really too bad, because the more eyes you have on a project, there is no sense to have a 4-foot sign facing my house. It doesn't face any of the streets. It just lights up my house. And I want to thank you for what you do. I've been up there for 14 years doing the same thing, so I know exactly how much work it is. But I would really like to implore you to use your planning commission, and also to become involved in the League of California Cities, because I think you'll glean a lot of fabulous information from them. Get involved.
Thank you.
I think you're right.
So we're talking to this guy. We've got a sign that's shining in nothing but a living room window. Why doesn't he turn it off?
So that sign was turned off, so that.
Oh, it is.
That's
no,
not, no,
it's
no.
not.
So that's not the current sign. So there was a different company that intended to open, but they never occupied it. So they actually turned that sign off. Then a new company came in and installed new signs, and
And that new sign is still pointing
Oh,
at
they
the...
just
Yes.
replaced the old sign.
I
Yeah.
understand.
It's a
over
new
the
name.
Yeah, it's over the front door of the.
Yeah.
Is there a timer that could be placed on these lights so they
That's
shut
what
off at a?
Well, the problem is they open at 5 a.m. in the morning, which I wasn't anticipating, and they turn that on at 5 a.m.
yeah, so we're working through that it will no longer, I mean, it will be on, if it's on at all, only during reasonable hours, right? I mean.
So you're already on the mix.
Kind of like a
Right.
noise ordinance, can't start work before 7 o'clock type thing.
Just for reference, if that sign were moved down
Yeah,
about 3 feet,
but is there a door underneath
there,
it?
yeah, well, but it's way up
Oh,
high.
okay.
I mean, this is a fortress of a building. I
Okay.
mean, if it were down, that wall would block it.
Okay.
But it's huge, and it's up very high. And if they would just put a fascia on the front of the one with the register,
Yep.
they put it on the side instead of, it needs to go all the way around.
So before we walk away from this, are these conversations we're having with the owner happening today, or was this conversation 2 months ago and still nothing has happened?
It's been going on
Last week, I mean,
years.
Oh, so it's current.
it's
But a
been,
different ownership.
it's
very
important to
current.
note, so the problem was solved.
Okay.
Well, not
And then the
really.
new,
No,
and
so,
then-
but
then
the
new
problem was
owners-
solved because no one was there and the lights were turned off. Right? So,
weren't
so,
fixed.
so for, in our eyes, when the lights weren't on, we weren't getting any complaints. A new company comes in and they turn the lights on. And so it should have been resolved, but it wasn't, but we're on it. We've had conversations, we have numerous conversations with code enforcement, Jeff and his team. We will get it resolved, and what we will do is we'll communicate with Ms. Kuhn, and we'll provide an update to the
Thank you.
council as well.
Great,
Yep,
thank you.
thank you.
And if, when they're fixing things, if they want me to come out and show them what's happening, I'm there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
and
it.
good to see you. All right. Anyone else for good evening?
Hello, Mayor and staff. I'm Brent Lowe from your public library. So it's been a little bit since I've been here, so I am back, letting you know what's going on with the library. Oh, thanks, Colleen. She's got calendars to pass around. Thank you so much. Stuff that's going on in February. Tomorrow and the 18th, we have Lego Play Days from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Just open play for Lego. Now through the 13th, we're doing blind date with a book. So if you want to come and pick out a book and have no idea what it is you're going to read, let us know. The 10th, we're going to have a Valentine's Day craft from 3 to 4. The 11th, we're going to have a kaleidocycle for our teen and adult craft. It's from 3 to 4. As well as on the 11th, we're going to have our Master Gardener program at 6 o'clock. They're going to talk about spring vegetables this meeting. The 24th, we're going to have our Friends meeting at 1:30. If you'd like to be a friend of the library and volunteer time, it's a great group that does a lot for the library. We'd love to have you. The 28th, we're doing our story character peg doll craft from 3 to 4 for teens and adults. This month, we're doing computer classes. We have a series of computer classes. The 5th, the 12th, and the 19th are the series of classes. If you're a beginner on the computer, just need some updating, that's those. The 18th is an Microsoft Excel class. It's on a Saturday. Every Wednesday, we're doing preschool story time at 10:30. Every Thursday, we're doing our Wiggle Rooms program, which is similar to story time, just shorter, and a little more interactive. And then the biggest thing this month is we're doing facilitating our VITA program designed for seniors and low-income folks. We have an outside organization that comes in and does taxes. It's every Thursday from 2 o'clock to essentially 5 o'clock. We're taking appointments. It's a great program. They've been doing it long before I was with the library. I think it's been going on maybe 15 years or so-ish. If you have questions about that, give us a call at the library. And as always, we like to thank all the residents of the county who voted on an 8-cent sales tax that helps support the library, as well as our friends of the library, Lions Club, Rotary Club, and the City Council, and the whole community. I'd also like to give an extra thanks for the Lions Club this past Saturday. They did their fun run, and part of the fun run is we get some of the money. They come and give us a check every year, and we really appreciate the Lions and all they do for us too. That was a lot. You guys have any questions for me?
You said something on the 28th, it's not on the calendar, what is
Is
that?
it not? Yeah, I know. I think I have that on there. I'm like, I think we did that already. So I think
So maybe-
that might be my mistake.
Okay, and then also this blind date with a book, is that like a Braille book?
No, it's not. So what we do is we wrap up the books. Oh, you're killing me. We wrap up the books and put a little snippet of what the book is, and you maybe go outside your genre that you usually read. So it's pretty cool. It's fun.
How many when you're doing the training and stuff like that, how many people can you accommodate? Do you have,
So typically, we
Computers.
like to keep it to around 4. We don't typically fill up. Usually it's the 2 to 3 to 4 folks.
nice,
We have a volunteer that comes in and she does a great job, really molds the class. She has a curriculum that she follows,
nice.
but if it's a group that is a little beyond that, she facilitates that, and if it's a group that's not, she does that too.
Nice.
She does a great job. We appreciate her a
That's
lot.
cool.
Yeah, thank you.
And then for the little kids stuff, is there an age group that you usually, or is it all ages?
So for our story times and our Wiggle Worms, the Wiggle Worms really is designed for 0 to 3 crowd. But if you're preschool age 2, you're totally welcome to that. Our preschool story time is kind of 0 to 5.
Nice.
But yeah, all ages are, right now we have a great, thank you for the community because we really have big groups for both of those right now. So it's great to see it really well attended. It's awesome.
And one last question. My kids are dying to know, when's the next Python Run presentation or animal presentation?
So we're hearing things about summer with our summer reading program. I don't know if Python Ron is going to be part of that. It's goes through, Modesto takes care of all that. They did say there may be another one that has animals, an animal program like,
Okay.
but yeah, Python Ron is pretty awesome. He does a great
My
job.
kids really appreciate it and they don't ever stop talking about it.
Yeah, I know.
They don't
It's-
understand that Python Run doesn't live around here.
Yeah, that's right. I know, exactly. Yeah, he's a good guy. He does a lot of good stuff.
If he doesn't show up, does Rattlesnake Rick show up instead?
Yeah, they're devenomized snakes. For yes, I know.
Thank you for that.
Thanks,
Thank
you
for
guys.
being here.
Appreciate
Hey,
it.
and I'd also like to just say happy birthday to Brent Lowe. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's not his birthday, I just wanted to say that.
This guy, I tell you. All right, anyone else for public comment? All right, public comment is now closed. Now's the time for the city council consent agenda. Council member like to pull or discuss an item? If not, this is an action item.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make a second.
We have a first and a second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Patassi,
Yes.
and Mayor Barrios.
Yes, this passes 3-0. Thank you, Colleen. All right, 11.1.
Mayor Barrios, members of the council, good evening. This is consideration of a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a subdivision improvement agreement and a final map to be recorded to the county recorder's office. You may recall some time ago, it was in July that the Planning Commission approved a tentative subdivision map. And that subdivision map or the project is referred to as Saddlewood, and it's located in the Crane Crossing specific plan area on the west side of town, just off of West F. Some of the improvements that are going to be included, just like any other subdivision, are stormwater, sewer, water mains. Above ground will be streets, curb gutter sidewalk, decorative lights, and mailboxes, much like you see in Vineyards, Bridal Ridge, and across town in the Tesoro. It's kind of our new standard that we've been implementing in subdivisions. One of the features when we went through the review process is Brownwood Lane is going to be limited to pedestrian access. The street to the west that carries through to Pontiac, and I lost it in my mind. Timberwood carries from the subdivision all the way to Pontiac, and that'll be the through street or the second access point for the subdivision. And what makes this project unique is this is the first project within the Crane Crossing specific plan. And normally, final maps and subdivision improvement agreements are done on the consent calendar item. It is a consent calendar item. But in this case, because it's the first subdivision in, there are other improvements that are going to be included, as well as probably another action, or will be another action within the next 30 to 45 days that'll be considered by the city council. So the Crane Crossing specific plan area is the area looking on this map. Saddlewood is the area that's highlighted approximately. What's unique about this project is some of the undergrounding and infrastructure that's going to be installed will be enjoyed by future development in the area or in the subdivision or specific plan area. And in doing that, that requires a financing plan and a reimbursement agreement. Those two items will come back to the council at a later time, like I said, between 30 and 45 days. So what we're looking at is a final map, which is very comparable to the tentative subdivision map, which is what's on the screen now. And this is a portion of it. The other portion to the west carries to Crane Road. And the final map is the delineation of each of the lots, and that's what's recorded to the county, and then ultimately it becomes the individual lots, not just a single 1, 2, or 3 parcels that are in the plan area. This is a map showing the entire subdivision. I was trying to find something that encompassed the whole subdivision at one time, but this is what the subdivision will look like. The subdivision improvement agreement, just in summary, and this is a very summarized version, it's in your packet, but it establishes bonds to ensure that public improvements are installed and warrantied per city standards and requirements. So those improvements will at one point in time, when the subdivision is accepted by council, will become the city's to maintain after a 1-year warranty period. Some of the improvements that are associated with this project are in Fish Park. And some of them, and what will be included, are shade structures over the playground area, the newly installed playground area, and over a picnic area. A 2-hole restroom, which will be located near the play area to the north, between Pontiac and the playground. And also resurfacing of a half-court basketball court with lighting. And then finally, the baseball fields that are currently in the basin, they're going to be rehabbed to at least just bring them up to date on where they need, where they really need to be, and how, make them usable or more usable than they are now. There'll be some. We'll be looking at irrigation improvements and other things, just to make sure that we ensure that the fields stay at top notch and in as a certain level of quality at least. So staff is recommending, and the action again tonight, there's 2. There's approving the subdivision improvement agreement and also the final map. Staff is recommending the council authorize the city manager to execute a subdivision improvement agreement for the Saddlewood subdivision and authorize the city clerk to file the final map and subdivision improvement agreement with the county clerk's office. And if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Is this also a time to ask about the Fish Park improvements?
Sure.
So are the restrooms going to be remotely locked like the modern ones that we're building elsewhere?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
In fact, that is the same standard that we've used at Dorada Park and also at the sports park.
And then
So
the lighting for the basketball court is going to be on a timer?
Yes,
And can't be turned on after X o'clock?
right,
Okay.
activated. Those details will be flushed out in the reimbursement agreement that'll be coming back to council.
Okay, and I'm sure at a future point, because we always do it with the new neighborhoods, I think you call it a landscape and services fee that they're gonna pay. Yeah, we're gonna have one for this neighborhood as well?
So the neighborhood is not gonna be impacted by this. These improvements are generated by the new development of Saddlewood. There's no financial burden in terms of to the surrounding neighborhood of the park. The cost is generated from the development of the project of Saddlewood. There are, in fact, the Community Facilities District, which was heard by council, I believe, a number of meetings ago. Part of that is including, well, or will include the improvements that are done or will be done in the subdivision. The park, in terms of maintenance of the restroom, that'll be something that we'll take on. And just the other improvement items within the park will be taken on as we take those items on currently. So in terms of any additional burden or financial burden on the immediate neighborhood, no, there won't be anything. The fees will be generated by the Saddlewood subdivision project.
Those are the fees that I'm talking about. The fees that the owners will pay on these lots will cover their own landscaping.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
emergency services.
yes.
So
and
that's gonna come up before the council separately sometime.
Yes. So in the finance plan, there will be, and we'll talk about at that time, there will be a plan area fee that'll be associated with the finance plan, and that plan area fee is specifically to not only take care of items that the developer does, but also it will be in place for future, as other builders come into the specific plan area. As they include improvements, they'll be reimbursed with those fees as well.
Great, thanks.
Couple questions. So for this final map in the beginning, this is the final for, you know, that's gonna be the base of moving forward for the rest of that additional subdivision.
Yeah, so with this subdivision, the final map is the final map which establishes the individual lots. And it is the map that is sent to the county recorder's office. It looks somewhat like this, but it is in your packet.
The bigger one with the red, had it all blocked out, that's, I think it was earlier on in the presentation. Yeah. So is that the master of like where the subdivision's
Yeah,
gonna
this-
grow into?
Yeah,
So-
so this encompasses a plan that was adopted in 2013. And so they went through the environmental review and it included the southern area and this northern area. The southern area has been annexed into the city.
Got it.
The northern area will have to be annexed at a future time. And when that happens, there's significant public review. But right now, we just have the areas in the city that are in the area called southern area. And then you can see the highlighted yellow with the red boundary is the project that we're talking about.
Gotcha. And so with this project, I noticed that there's no parks in this subdivision. Is there, and we're kind of pushing that towards Fish Park and
Yeah,
updating
that's-
Fish Park. Is there gonna be any sort of parks added to the future?
Yes.
You know, for obvious, my question goes straight to like drainage and off and runoff, all that kind of stuff. Like how's that stuff gonna be handled? Are they gonna implement new parks and facilities and stuff like that as it grows north?
Yeah, so in this specific plan, there is a park area that's approximately, if you look at in the word southern, the O and the U due north about halfway to the limits of the specific plan area. There's a park location generally in that area.
Gotcha.
So yeah, there will be additional, and there's also a large park in the northern area as well.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Any questions from the public for Jeff?
So do we just motion both questions on one?
Yeah, they're
Okay,
together.
Motion to approve 11.1, I believe we're at.
Second motion.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Patassi,
Yes.
and Mayor Barrios.
This item passes 3-0. Thank you, Chloe. All right, 11.2.
Great. Mayor, members of the council, the item before you, 11.2, is related to consideration of a request by Pacific Project Heroes to place military banners on Third Avenue starting in May through November. We really appreciate Pacific Project Heroes and the work they did this last year to install those banners. I thought it was a pretty cool highlight to the downtown and to support our those serving in the armed forces and veterans. And we have J.R. McCarty with Pacific Project Heroes. I don't know if you had anything you'd like to say? But the request is basically as it was last year, and we'd like to continue with that.
With the exception of the current hardware, the size that it is right now, we're going to leave it that way, so we stop moving the hardware up and down, and it breaks, and because that's what costs the most money is the hardware on those light poles, if approved. So this is one of the banners that were hung up last year, and so the new banner will be another foot, right? And it's going to be like red, white, and blue, and it'll have the veteran or active military's name, his rank, their rank, also what years they served or are currently serving. This year, we'd like to see if we can get some female military veterans or current members. This is no cost to the city. Pacific Project Heroes takes all expense on that, and we look forward to hopefully moving forward and doing this from Memorial Day until Veterans Day. And any questions from the council?
Thank you for doing this. This is awesome.
Yeah. And so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
A huge thank you for doing this, and personally, a personal thank you from me, because walking into the downtown area and seeing my son's poster up there every time was really, really cool.
Yeah, we got a lot of great feedback with that, and I thought, and it brought a lot of people down to the downtown area, and so it was great. There is no expense to the veteran or the sponsor who asked us to put this up. There are 16 poles, so there are 32 spots available, and we just want to show our support to the people, men and women serving our. So we do call this the hometown hero. To qualify, you got to either have to been lived in Oakdale, currently in Oakdale, or your child is from Oakdale. Just, we wanted to make it a hometown kind of thing. So thank you for your
Is there,
consideration.
how can people go about getting a hold of you to apply?
We will be rolling out the information on our Facebook, our social media, and then, we will generate something probably in the paper. Everything is usually online, the application, and if not, if they can't do it online, we will work with a hard copy. One thing though, we noticed last year, a lot of people didn't have military photos of their father or grandfather, and that's okay. We will use a non-military photo for the banner. That's perfectly fine.
Cool.
One other thing, how many times do you see two former mayors and a current mayor in the same room? Usually at the HBRB, right?
I was gonna say.
So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is great, and just echo, it was nice to see my nephews there. And, that was really something special that they did.
And it's just one other thing that makes us this little, small, unique community to live in, and so, thanks again.
Any questions from the public? All right, is there a motion?
Motion to definitely approve 11.2.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Patassi,
Yes.
and Mayor Barrios.
Absolutely, passes 3-0. Thank you for your help.
Thanks, Chair.
12.1.
Great, thank you. Mayor, members of the council, I just wanted to provide a brief update on the Gregor Sports Park. If you've been by, it's starting to look more and more like nearing completion. They've been adding the landscaping, plants, bushes, the bark, trees. So we're getting there. One of the biggest challenges was waiting for the power pedestal so that MID could install it and then energize the lines. And is that energized now?
Today.
It was energized today, so there's some minor things, but then we'll have power to the restrooms, to the tennis and pickleball courts. And so Karina, would you mind kind of giving us a timeline of when we think that's going to be done? I think towards the end of the month, is that what it's looking like?
Yeah, we're looking at, we just got energized today, so we got to run the power through everything, make sure everything's functioning, get our bathroom up and running, check all of our lights, and then we will punch walk everything take a look at our parking lot and make sure all of that is functioning correctly, everything's draining. So we've got a few more weeks that we need to have our eyes on it and make sure everything is good before we can open it to the public. We will have some work that won't be able to be done until the spring. We have a couple of repairs to the courts that need to be made, and those types of companies don't work in any type of inclement weather. They actually leave the state of California during the winter. So they won't be back until April to do some of that, but some of it's just striping and a couple small repairs. It's nothing that will stop us from using the park. And we're also waiting for them to finish the shade structure so that that part is safe for us to run around. And otherwise, we just have the little small details that we're finishing up. Some weed control and prettying it up, and then we'll be ready to go. So we're hoping definitely by the end of February to be ready to get people out there and play in the park.
And just want to thank Karina. She's our project manager on the site and is doing a great job with that project and many others. What we're looking at is hopefully having a ribbon cutting. I know the mayor doesn't like this type of stuff, but we'll do it. And we're looking at that first week in March. And so I don't know if... Okay. Okay. Yeah, so hopefully we'll find a time that will work. We'll poll the council to see your availability, but. Oh, yeah, I will be there.
Yeah, it's a real shame you won't be able to enjoy the park, Brian.
Oh, man, I feel
It's
it.
right down the street from here.
All right, thank you.
All right, anyone else? Councilmember, have any items?
I mean, I kind of have a question, but I don't know if it's relevant to right now. My concern, it looks great from what I can see from the road. One thing I noticed is when you're driving, that big hill that kind of blocks the courts, has that been brought up to anybody about maybe a safety concern or not being able to see, like, in there if kids are in there messing around or, you know, so
There was great care taken into that because it's actually quite visible on a lot of different angles. If you're right there at the slope, you can't see in, but it's also to protect the residents from the noise. Pickleball is a louder sport, and so it provides protection from sound, and also it creates a wind barrier because the prevailing winds kind of come through that way also. So yeah, if you're on branding iron, I don't think people will be able to do shenanigans in there because of the number of households that are along branding iron that will be able to face inward towards it. And then if you're past the berm, you have a clear line of sight in there.
And that's what I was going to ask, like with what Alana presented last with us locking the gates and all that's all going to.
Yes, so that's something that we'll be implementing also so that we have the key system and everyone who receives a key will get kind of the rules of the park and that sort of thing. That seems to work out pretty well in Riverbank, and that's
sounds
but
good.
Great points. There was good reasons for the berm. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, no,
You'll be able to
sense.
observe the events if your significant other, child, whatever's playing. I mean, it'll be grass up there so you can sit, put a blanket. But from the noise perspective, just doing research, if you want to humor yourself, you can Google pickleball noise, and you'll see news articles of environments. I think one of my favorites was in Berkeley. They had 2 tennis courts this way, apartment complexes on either side, and literally 5 feet of space. And it was great for tennis, but then they converted them into 8 pickleball courts. And what I found is pickleball is not, oh, we're going to play for an hour. It's groups from sun up to sundown that play, and so that created a problem. So we wanted to be very sensitive to create an environment where it was far enough away, but just in case, also have kind of those barriers to block the sound.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also under,
There will be cameras?
Yes, yeah, we're working with them to find the best locations so that they can.
Are those going to be the cameras that the OPD has access to and all that?
Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff.